What's all the moves? They're not hard to find. Strong arm tactics so loud, only themselves in mind. Every player has dreams of making ORCA fame. They'll live on in the minds of those who get in their way. Orcas all say, don't come for me. Mid-merge boots, they're so vain. As we set up the podcast webcam, the party's here to talk ORCA game. ORCA King CK with delusions of fame. In this LRG world, he's the apex predator. Danny and Jules in tow, always ready to go. Now it's time for the show. They're the apex predators.
Hello and welcome to the ORCA Pod, the Apex Predators of Australian Survivor LRG podcasting. Here we are. Well, I get clapped. This is amazing because I have finally, after many weeks, I have a producer. There you go. Well done. Thank you, producer. Finally, after many weeks, I've trained someone up. The intern is here to give me the clicks and claps that I desire and deserve. We are here talking about the penultimate episode of Canberra Survivor, Season 4. I wouldn't say it was the most riveting episode because I think what I predicted came to pass. I said Derek would go. Derek was seen as the major threat, and Derek was taken out by the group. I think it was predictable Survivor, as foreshadowed by my prognostication, and not as considered by my fellow co-host who thought that her boy Derek could survive one more round. Let's bring her in without any further ado.
Look, I'm in mourning. I thought he was going to do it. I thought he was going to go for the desperation station and give him implicit immunity. We'll get into it. I think this was a bad move for more than half of the people. So it was a bad move.
I actually think it was the best move for everybody. But I do also find it strange
we'll get into it.
that he did not go for the desperation station. I think that was the most critical miss. He'd been talking about that being his plan for weeks to come. Reached that moment, saved his desperation. Yeah. See, that's. I bet you. We will talk to him later, but I imagine we asked what his biggest regret was. It was probably not taking that desperation idol as he planned to do. Okay, so Danny's not available this week. She's out. Is she in another country? Where is she? She's somewhere.
Singapore, I believe.
Ah, that is another country.
I'm jealous.
So, you know, we needed to bring someone in to help us cover this episode, and you know, if you can't have your absolute bestie on, why not bring in your next best bestie? If we can't have the ORCA of Uncharted Waters on, why don't we get two almost ORCAs from Uncharted Waters to combine into like a mega ORCA, like Voltron, to give us their ORCA takes on the season. So look, you know, and I love that you two are such besties that you basically come dressed the same. That's how good friends you are. Let's bring him in without further ado.
That's not anything.
He's also wearing a grey hoodie.
Mine's
it's like
blue.
best thing you know. That's grey, Jules.
The t-shirt
Actually,
is
man,
grey.
made a wardrobe change at the last second, so yeah.
So you can connect better.
I didn't know, but I just felt it, yeah.
Do you know, but this is completely off topic, but I've been watching the show Shrinking, Greg, and you look so much like Roy Kent from like Ted Lasso. It's insane. That's your like doppelganger.
Which one's he?
Like the grumpy guy. You guys don't watch Ted Lasso or you're Shrinking?
I've watched some of the first season, I can't remember.
Well, you're exactly like that guy. Bree's here for it. We'll be here for Bree later on as well. Before we get into the show,
remaining hope in the draft, despite the fact that I am officially mathematically impossible for me to win. I did the math. Even if Bree wins in a unanimous vote and CK, your last 2 remaining go out back to back, you still beat me. So
Victory.
let's revisit the conversation we had where we said the orca of the season gets you bonus points, because I think I might have the orca.
You didn't want that. You
No,
were
I didn't want it, and I regret
vehemently
it.
against it. All right, before we get into the episode, though, we need to reflect on what's happened in past equivalents. Okay, Jules, tell us about what happened in the equivalent episode 11s of previous Canberra Survivors.
Well, there's only one, because season 1 and 2 only had 10 episodes. Season 3, it was the finale. So we started off with losing the People's Champion in Eden. And then at Final 4, we had a tied vote. We had a fire making challenge where they had to balance coins on their forearm. And if you remember, Ed has a giant forearm and Pauline has one that's about this big. So it was over very quickly.
Yeah, that was poorly designed.
Sorry?
That was poorly designed. Ed had an advantage.
Yeah, it was a massive advantage for Ed. But it didn't matter because he didn't win in the end. Bethany got the win in a 4-2-2 vote. We were very happy to see that.
Well, I think given it was the finale, we're going to say that it was better than this episode, because this episode, while critical to what we will see in the finale, was somewhat of a fait accompli. As I said earlier, I knew Derek was going. Before we get into that, Greg, I understand you have binge-watched the entire merge in 2 days for the purpose of your appearance here. What's your thoughts on the season?
Yeah, I was going to say, as of yesterday, I'm a huge Survivor Canberra fan.
You enjoying the season?
I actually am. It's really good on 1.25 speed, I've got to say. I think that's like the sweet spot. Everyone sounds really succinct and smart and like, but I actually am very impressed. I haven't watched too many LRGs aside from my own season, but
behavior.
the audio obviously is really good. It must be expensive. And so yeah, that makes it a lot easier. And yeah, the editing's really good. It's just like, I don't know, it's really good. It's really good as well.
You have PTSD watching Mars, similar to Jules, who's had PTSD watching Mars.
Hate watching Mars.
Yeah, because he was your bestie in your eyes, but he meant nothing. You meant nothing to him. You were garbage to him.
Clearly, yeah. Who was it that I felt like, was it Aston that was kind of the reverse with that he thought he was in with Aston, or Will, one of them?
Yeah, I'd say Mark thought he was locked in with Aston. Yeah.
I watched a lot of. It's all
blurred.
But I actually then I watched all of the post-merge last night, and then watched a bit of the pre-merge also this morning, and I was like, wait, no, now I'm forgetting what happened in the post-merge. So I watched that last episode again, so I've got a lot of notes.
Good, because we don't have our scribe, so
don't rely on me, but I have heaps of notes.
Let's jump into
the season. Loving the season. Excited to get into it.
Let's jump into the number one headline. Derek planned for this moment. He knew he was the biggest target. He knew he had to make it to 5, and then he would leave the desperation station to that moment. It is the absolute perfect time to have the desperation station, because Bree just did it successfully. It's now even more legitimate of a semi implied immunity. He had the plan and literally just forgot.
When did he have the plan? When did he say that?
Like 2 episodes ago, he said, "I'm going to make it through here, and then I'll."
Last chance you could take it.
Yeah, that he was planning on taking it.
One of my notes on the desperation station twist was a question, like, it is basically implicit immunity. Like, no one was anyone ever voted out or attempted to be voted out who had taken the totem?
No, that's what we've been saying the whole time, that it's like, if there's another option, why would you risk it?
Yeah.
I think Anthea would have gone if he'd gone for it.
I think that's possible, for sure.
So therefore, bad twist, or like?
I see what they were going for. They were trying to do a shot in the dark that's a bit more powerful, a bit more, and rather than, I like the not giving up your vote. Yeah, there you go. Mushy and Anthea copped votes pre-merge when they took the totem.
But they were token votes. They weren't.
Yeah.
There was never any real attempt to remove them.
I really like the fact that you don't have to give up your vote, but you have to give up something, which is time at camp. I like that element. I think that's probably the best part of it.
I still think it's a little bit overpowered. I think you should probably lose your vote.
I disagree. I don't like all this losing your vote.
How about a two-tiered structure? There's 2 puzzles. One is easier and one is harder. If you succeed in the easier one, you get your vote back. If you do the harder one as well, then you get the immunity. Overly complicated, but the whole thing is anyway.
Sorry, I don't want to derail this whole thing because you probably already talked about this, but it's the same puzzle every time. And do they know the nature?
The same puzzle, different numbers. So they can't go and be like, well, I put in this code.
But they know the nature of the puzzle.
Only if they discussed it with each other. The first person who saw it, who was that? Was that in the first episode? Maddie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Maddie got a free shot at it just due to the swap. And no one knew what it would be like until she did that. And, strategically, you might share what it was, but what would you say that it was really hard? You probably want to argue that it's very hard so that other people don't use it as implicit immunity, but it ended up always being
that. Either you know how to do them or you don't. So while it was hard for Maddie, Bree breezed through it. So it's I think it'd be weird to come back and be like, oh, it was super hard. I mean, I think they're going to assume it's hard because of all the people that have failed it. But then you don't want to be like, oh, it's too hard. Someone else comes over like, oh, here we go, easy.
But Bree's a genius. We've established this on the show. She nailed that.
I mean, I did it too. All right, I solved it.
She nailed this. She nailed this.
Do the players know that she's a genius, or is it more the audience knows?
Well,
if they watched when Bree defeated me on the weakest link, then they would know she's a genius because I was the strongest link repeatedly until she beat me in that final round. So anyone who watched that knows, including myself, knows what a genius Bree is.
I don't even know what that means.
Don't ignore him.
So Derek's decision, I criticize, and will continue to do so. What about somebody else not taking it so as to perhaps prevent Derek from taking it? Derek is Will's target. Derek is, we learn, Natalie's target. Why do neither of these people seek out the desperation shuttle so as to prevent Derek from doing so?
I think because there was for both of them, there's a reasonable alternative to both. Like if he does take it, oh well, someone else will go. Like I don't think Natalie was never getting a vote at this tribal in any circumstance, and she's got an idol, so that she didn't need to take it. And I think for Will, if Derek takes it, I don't think Will becomes the target. I think Anthea or Julie looked at before he is.
Greg, you've watched this all in a compressed space. Why is Will not a target?
That was one of my notes. Because when I started watching, which was the merge episode, he is basically the consensus number one threat. And the only argument for not getting rid of him is, he's an obvious threat. He'll always be an obvious threat. We can get rid of him later. And I was literally like, I'm here. Why? How? I think my thought was, okay, now Derek's won. He's gone an immunity run. So he's shot up to number one, basically. That seems to be the only reason that I could think of. And I think Anthea says at one point that it's going to be tricky to get Will out at this stage, numbers-wise, it seems like. So it kind of seems like
I don't know if she meant that it's tricky. I don't know what her intention was. I took it as she doesn't think she can get Will out because there's other threats as well, because she's in her mind, she thinks she can't beat Natalie, which is a weird read. I think everyone beats Natalie. But she thinks
Janine beat Natalie? If it
Sorry.
was a final two, would Janine beat Natalie?
Yes,
Okay. Wow.
I think. It would depend on what they had to say at the end. But regardless, I think Anthea wins against those two. But I think Anthea's more thinking, well, I can't sit at the end with Natalie. I can't sit at the end with Will. I can't. She didn't say it, but she can't sit at the end with Bree. So
No, Bree wins.
I think she more meant from I can't take Will out now because I have bigger fish to fry. Which
I think we're jumping to what's going to happen in the future, but I think in the penultimate episode we can do this a little bit. I think that Anthea is perfectly set up to win, as I've been saying for quite a long time on this program, because Bree has to go if she doesn't win the next immunity. She's got to go on like Bree is winning if she's at the end, right? You've got so many reds on the jury. They're all voting for her.
Oh yeah.
I think I think she struggles against Will.
Yeah. Bree would struggle against Will, but Bree goes first, and then you've got, let's say Bree goes first, or let's say she wins immunity. Now the choice is between Anthea and Will, and between the two of them, I think everyone is more threatened by Will. So let's say Bree goes, and it's a final four with Will, Nat, Anthea, and Janine. Unless Will wins that immunity, I think it's a unanimous vote on Will, and I think Anthea is in a great position then to win the game.
She's out of the 6, she's 4. I have her in my winner equity ranking, so she just has to like 4 out of 6. So like Derek,
Will,
Will,
5 left. Yeah, she's probably
the 5. But I'm saying like at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean,
she just has to sit with those 2 below her.
At this point, that's probably where you want to be. Is like you don't want to be the number 1 threat.
The Marianne theory, sort of. But she has, But
so I think,
I mean, I'm going to back my girl, my last remaining draft pick. I think Bree can do it.
I think win out.
We could get our first Orca and winner combo in Bree.
And we would agree Mars is a contender.
I would be Mars is up there, but it's Bree for me at the moment. Who's going to be the Orca?
I like Bree.
He's giving you Orca vibes, Greg.
Orca vibes, yeah, Bree, definitely. I was kind of hoping she would get voted out this week, so we could talk to her. So I could talk to her.
But she lives in Melbourne. We've got the Uncharted Waters drinks coming up in about a month and a bit. Event to be still done. Who was doing that? Danny, I think. But details to come. 1st of August, Uncharted Waters. Anyone in Melbourne, live drinks on me. Be there, Greg. Be there, Bree. You can gush all over her in person.
Cool.
Greg recently became besties with Isabel, so he's just gathering up these Orca candidates into a crew.
Should we get a bit more into this actual episode rather than what we think is going to happen?
Keep us on track, Jules.
Sorry?
Keep us on track.
Well, Danny's not here. Someone has to. But no, I actually think this was a bad move for Will. I think he needed to keep Derek around one more round. So what I'm saying is when I said this is a bad move for the majority, I think Janine probably should have voted for Derek, but whatever. I think Will needed Derek to stay one more round and just have that shield going into final 5.
He does have the Bree shield, but yes, and then if one person wins the immunity at 4, he's in trouble. If they vote out Anthea here, he has to win that final. Like he's going to have to win the final immunity anyway, but he might have to win 2 immunities. Like he could probably win the final immunity against Anthea, Nat, and Janine. Like he's maximizing his potential here. It may be he is getting rid of a shield, but he is maximizing his potential. And I legitimately do think Anthea might take him to the end. What do we think? She's talking like she would.
Well, she doesn't think she beats Natalie, so if she votes out Natalie over Will, that's like the game.
Natalie can't be voted out next anyway, but you mean at final 4?
At final 4.
Yeah.
I think that this was the right time. Like you can't. Derek's won back-to-back immunities. Like you can't really take that risk. I don't think.
Derek's very
Will,
skilled.
Will is pretty handy in challenges. He has the potential to beat him.
Yeah.
So I
But-
don't know.
yeah.
I think Will's in trouble now.
Well, yeah, it's that dilemma of how many not goats, but people below you, I guess, you want to take, and how far you want to take them, because you could potentially get outnumbered by the goats, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's just that, is 6 too early? Like, I don't think 6 is too early. Taking out.
I think for Anthea, this was the right call, because she's got 2 people in front of her, so she takes out one of them. I think Will is now the potential. I don't know, Will or Bree are the biggest threats at the moment, but those are the 2. I think Will's going to be looked at next episode.
Can we talk to that? And you add this in the notes, Greg. Will was on the table at this vote. He was just as available as Derek and Anthea, and people like Natalie, especially, but also Janine, but especially Natalie, was talking to Will like he wasn't even a consideration here. That it was obviously a choice between Derek and Anthea. Is Will being underrated? And I know you said, Greg, about at the start of the merge, but has it gotten to a point where Will is being so underrated that they have Anthea in front of him? Now, I must say, as I said last week, if I was on this show and if I'm ever on a season with somebody and you're a returnee, you want me on the jury, because I don't care what you did, you're probably getting my vote because I'm going to appreciate your body of work. And Anthea, I wonder if that body of work threat is really popping up here as a returnee on the season. And I know Janine is a returnee, but she's played a very non-strategic game. She's played with her heart. She's like, I like Derek. I'm not voting for Derek. Look, honestly, Janine, in the final 6, that's insane. It's an insane way to vote your vote, right?
I think she was like, I don't care. I'm gonna have fun. We're doing it. Like, I think she
That was so annoying. I hated that, by the way, Janine's whole attitude to this round. But
she was just saying she was bored. I'm like, you're bored?
Hate.
Why are you bored?
That is the people's champion you guys are talking about.
Yeah, she's already brought her. Yes, Orca drinks in Canberra again. Can you believe that we have had 4 seasons since we introduced the concept of the people's champion, and in 3 of them, the wheel, just pure fate, has spun up someone that finished in the top 5. That is crazy.
That is crazy.
Just take that wheel to the track.
And especially because, like, for of the 4 seasons we've done, 3 of them, the wheel has spun up after the first 2 rounds of picking. So we suck at picking other people and taking them all off the board.
That was for the first 2, yeah.
In this one as well. Oh, no, not this one, sorry.
No,
this one.
This one was available. Everyone was available. It's amazing. So, yeah, there'll be drinks at some point, for sure. I'm a man of my word.
I think potentially another theory of why it was Derek or Anthea was the last vote, was basically they came back and it was Derek versus Anthea. And it was almost like, choose your side.
Agree.
They can't both stay this round after this.
That's a great point. The Anthea voting for Derek last vote pitted them against each other as the 2 options.
Yeah. My other theory about why Will is being underrated, I think he is kind of playing up that he's a little bit awkward, and when he's talking, it's a bit like the bumbly kind of guy. I don't know how much of that is his genuine personality, or how much he is hamming that up, but that can make people underestimate him.
I think it's a bit of both, yeah.
What do we think about? Let's talk about Natalie, and I don't want to be neg about Natalie.
Be neg.
And we said 2 episodes ago, with 2 idols, what could she do to elevate her game to a winning position? She's certainly not played a winning game to that point. That's a lot of hardware. Could she do something interesting? And she's done the least interesting thing, which is to play the idol on herself. It looks like she's going to do that again at the next vote.
Did you have suggestions of what she could do specifically?
I had some sort of ludicrous plan, but it was pretty hard.
Your plan was silly. I think here Did she know that Janine was going to vote for Anthea? Because if she's a good liar, which I don't think she is, so this is moot, but she could have put her vote on Anthea and then played the idol for Anthea and then denied voting. Like, no, I voted for Derek and I made sure the person I wanted went out with the idol play. That's one thing. But I think.
But why?
What
Why? But why does she want to keep Derek?
No, they play the idol for Anthea to get Derek out.
What?
So,
but
so you're saying, but
Derek's
how
already
many
going.
is she voting? Was she going to vote for
She'd
Anthea
have to
here?
put her vote on Anthea so that it's a 3-3. But then she'd have to lie about it and say, no, I voted for Derek. I don't know who that other Anthea vote was.
Yeah.
She's not a good liar. But I think the other thing she could have done is held on to it. And then going into final 5, if she's got 2 idols, she can completely determine who goes home. It's up to her.
Okay.
And
here's my plan here's my master plan, what she could do, right? Here we go. She gets the votes, so they're supposed to do their 3-3 on Anthea and Derek, right? Then actually puts her vote on Will and then plays idols on both Anthea and Derek.
Yeah, she's not playing both of them at this round.
And then leaves herself completely exposed at the next vote.
Yeah, then they vote her out. I think though that's what she should have done next round. Held on to it. Final 5, just say, I don't know, Will wins immunity. And the votes are going on to Bree, and then Bree's going to vote for Anthea. She goes, you know what? Fuck it. I play the idol on these 2, and my sole vote decides who goes. Like that way she can stand at the end and be like, that vote, I controlled who went home.
Yeah. It's just such a manufactured, like, it's
I know, but it's like, what else is she gonna do? Like,
she's not gonna get votes.
You've got an idol, and the person that you want out goes out anyway. Like,
she's just not in a position to get votes at the end of the game. No. So she had to do something.
There was a quote she said, which was like something like she said something like, it was too early up until now. Now it's time to go. Now it's like, let's go.
Yeah,
and it's like, go where? Like, and then she says, I'm safe for the rest of the game, basically, but like, let's go. And it's like, where are you going? Where are we going? Yeah.
You know where she should have gone? To the desperation station, saved the 2 idols, as you said, Jules, and used them in an interesting way
but she didn't even need to do that. Like, she's got 2 idols at final 6. They're not voting for her.
Yes, and
they kept checking in. That's immunity in itself.
They kept checking in with it. Are you playing the idol? Yep, definitely playing it on myself. Definitely playing on myself.
So they're going to vote for her.
Good. It's good to say that.
Yeah.
And she can do. Yeah. Does she know the game?
Yeah, she's played orgs. She played one of the Pratty org.
Well, I was going to say she's giving like Nieta vibes of just, I need to be safe.
She knows a little bit, but I think there's a bit of paranoia there as well.
Yeah.
Holding on to 2 idols, like, surely that makes me a big threat. Maybe not.
I don't like. Has she had it? I don't remember a confessional where she's sort of outlining her endgame strategy at all.
No, I don't think she's. I think a lot of the game, she's really been playing the game round by round. I don't think she's ever found herself in a position of power. I know she's been calling that they've got a 4-person alliance. There's a 3-person alliance that she's tacked into. I think she appreciates that's the truth. I don't think she's ever felt secure at any point in the game to do anything remotely big. And she probably wasn't
voted out very early on.
Yeah, she was very close to getting voted out.
When?
So I think that made her play a bit scared.
When was she getting voted out? Probably where Simon went.
Yeah, it was like ended up being like a 3.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
Vote. Like it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Will voted for her. Anthea.
Yeah, Will. Yes, that's right. She copped a number of votes at the Simon vote.
Yep. So that I can understand her playing a bit scared with that, and then if I think in her mind, if she gets to the end, she wins. So.
Well, why would she think this?
Because the 2 idols.
But Anthea's story is that she beat cancer, got screwed, voted out,
Does
come
she
back.
know that Anthea beat cancer?
Probably not, actually.
They haven't seen season 3, and
That's
it's
it.
also like they're moving so quickly. Like you don't have time to sit and reflect on who's the biggest threat at this point. You finish tribal and you go to the next challenge.
Who's from US Survivor who's like, I'm already a survivor, I beat cancer? That was her story going into it. I feel like there's a famous one.
Was
I
that
don't know.
somebody?
I feel like there was. But
But there's a Melbourne Survivor 2, Rancy beat cancer.
it was Sunday. Sad.
This is only the second. This is actually only the second
She
person.
had cancer before, and then she kept coming. And then
This is actually the third cancer survivor player with Rancy from Melbourne season 2, and of course Marissa in Sydney Survivor with the recurring airing. So these like we're all like powerful cancer survivors coming in with their amazing stories. Rancy also couldn't be let near the end as well, I think, for that reason. So I think Anthony is probably right to have kept it, you know, but I don't think she told people this story. It was her story in season 3. I don't think it's her story here. So she hasn't told them that.
Do you think that the fail, like Anthea's sort of fail, like she kind of came back to camp after, like at the start of this episode, with sort of egg on her face?
Yeah.
She was kind of a bad, like she's not a good lie, like bad lying as well.
Yeah.
Like I probably would have just come straight
Will
out.
saying to her, "Why didn't you tell me? I would have done it." Like,
yeah, but even just like lying to Derek, like my point is, I wonder if that has lowered her win equity. Like people are sort of looking at her less as a less.
and like some people really care about how many times you voted correctly, and so she's got that incorrect vote on her.
Okay, yeah, but you can spin that with, I knew Derek was the threat. I was the one prepared to step out from our alliance and take that swing. I thought that I would be able to
And really, it was Bree that fumbled the bag with that.
For no discernible reason. You know, I'm the one that stepped out from our alliance and broke it and took the swing at the big player. Like whether it was, and then on this vote, she succeeded in that plan. So I think that it's going to work from her perspective.
Yeah, she could spin it that way. I don't think, I don't know if it was. But why did she leave Will out? Do we know why? She sort of just apologized.
She didn't think he'd do it.
He would do it.
And also, like,
the numbers in her mind. Numbers without it. So
someone's given some bad feedback. Greg, you've got some feedback, just some brushing, like air noise, like maybe a cat's running across your microphone. I think that.
She didn't think Will would do it, and also she was planning to take Will out as well. So
I think she's silly.
Out so that she can like completely switch sides, which is,
I think that she thought she was in a 3 with Derek and Will, which she was, and she is reasonably paranoid, which is healthy in this game. But I think she saw the 2 boys, probably because they were 2 younger boys from Melbourne, as the closer pair in the 3. I feel
incorrect read.
Yes, but I think that's why she didn't feel willing. I think when it comes down to it, she probably thought she was 3 in their group.
Yeah.
It could also be strategically she wanted to be her move and not her and Will's move.
She just had to.
She does end up at the end with him. She could be like, "This was my move. I did this."
Yeah.
But she had to lock in those numbers. Like you can't. I don't know. She had to double.
Well, I mean, she thought Bree was going to vote with her, and I think she thought Natalie was. No, she thought Janine was as well.
That sounds like that's. I feel like my sort of note. She's a serious gamer, but she's sloppy, or at least she's mentioned a couple of times. My brain's not working well anymore, and I get that it's hard, like 2 really intense days, sort of thing. But that's my feeling at this point. Like she's not 100% dotting her I's.
Yeah, she couldn't even give Derek a fake name. Derek's like, "What's the plan?" She's like, "I don't know." Which is like, "Oh, okay, cool. You're voting for me. Got it. Thank you." Like you already knew that, but yeah.
One of my favorite moments also is at the start when they come back and Anthea's just like kind of making an excuse why she didn't vote Derek. She's like, "We've been working so well since the beginning," and then Nat's like,
"Day 1." I'm like, "That was yesterday."
But then Nat just says, "Well, I guess that's over now." It was so good. And she was like, yeah.
Do we think that Brie would have gone had she not won immunity?
No.
Another one of my questions.
Yeah, no. You think Derek 2.0 hits this time?
I think it was always Derek versus Cynthia here.
I agree. It seemed like she had, like she sort of had a second wind. Like she was
I
down.
think, Greg, to your point, it's that this is what happened at last tribal. These are the other two names out there. Why bring another name into the mix? These are two big threats. Which one are we going to go for?
Yeah, I think she was really aware. Like she said that she, this is why you don't give up. Anything can change at any point. And she just hung in there, and then it changed without necessarily her doing something. She used the totem thing perfectly in the last round.
Mm-hmm.
And now and then things changed. And she was, I think, she would have been all right this round.
And I think Aston going maybe lowers her threat level a little bit, because like what numbers does she have now?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Aston going is a good thing for Brie.
So she probably does,
intentionally, but yeah.
So she probably does win if she makes it to the end, even against Will.
Hell yeah!
Right?
Brie.
Yeah.
Brie. Yeah, Brie's winning at the end.
Right.
She's getting Aston's vote, Jordan's vote, probably Maddie's vote. They've played the whole game with her. Mushy was pretty bitter at most people.
Based on even just her story, like if she makes the end from where she was, I think it's probably a winning.
And she's a confident speaker as well.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing with an FTC. It doesn't matter how accurate you are. If you're confident enough, people will buy it.
And she'd own her
mistake. I did this, I did that. And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe she did.
And she'd own her mistake. She'd own the final, the last vote that she fucked up. She'd own that and be like, but I was still, still good. And just sort of talk about how she comes. Yeah.
I've talked about this before. I think that John from my season was a real master of the jury management, which you don't always get in the LRGs. And I remember saying this after the fact to John. I messaged him like a week later, and I said, "Did you go to every single tribal council and always vote correctly, like every single one?" And he's like, "I didn't vote correctly on one of them because I had a plan." I don't really buy that, but that's what he said anyway. And I'm like, why didn't you say this at the final tribal council? I might have voted for you. He's like, I didn't say that. I don't remember this. I remember you saying Denise. But the point was, I'm like, why didn't I vote for you? Like, you obviously had a better game than Chloe. Like, I respect good gameplay. And he said, because I wasn't part of your story. Yeah. Like, John winning makes my story in Survivor irrelevant. I'm just not a part of his narrative, right? And so you want to feel like your time on the game was validated by the winners being part of the winner's story. So like Greg could have happily voted in this theory for Evan, who we played a lot of the game with, or even you, Jules, because you were part of his story, even if it was an antagonist.
Greg was never voting for me.
Like
I never had to think about it. There was no chance of you ever making it.
I went out next. It didn't matter.
Yeah. I'm just saying. It makes your story relevant. And for a lot of people, Brie winning makes their story really relevant.
Yeah.
So I think people will want to vote for her, and then she has some things to back it up, and that's all you need. People go in. You guys have been in a jury before. You go in knowing who you want to vote for. You might be undecided, but you've got a preference, and all you need is that person to say some things to convince you to do it. Like, but you're already.
I went into final tribal preferring to vote for Liz out of the two options I had, but
Liz the host.
Yeah.
Well, when you say relevant, CK, do you mean like you were an important person that they had to get out in order to get to the end, or is that what you mean by relevant, like to be relevant to their story?
No, because John and CK didn't play together until merge.
That's what I'm trying to understand. What do you mean?
I don't. Him winning means my time is essentially meaningless.
So, but what's it? What? But why? So, are you saying you should have done something different to get you to think that it wasn't?
No, that's why CK voted for Chloe.
Yeah, and John didn't try. Yeah, and John didn't even try and get my vote. He knew he couldn't. He just focused on the 4 votes he could get, and he got it.
True? But is that true that he couldn't? If he'd said that stuff that you said he should have said, could he?
I don't think I was in the right headspace. I was just thinking about, Chloe just said some things that made me feel good about myself, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm voting for her. Like, CK did this. I'm like, yeah, I did. I'm so good. Vote for Chloe.
I don't know. I don't know if I think about it that. Like, I think I just couldn't vote. Anyway, it's not about us, but I couldn't vote.
That's also really relevant here
Someone who
because the
said
early
UBs.
jurors are Reds.
Yeah.
You know, with Jordan being the mayor of Ponderosa, he wants to vote for Bree. Over
Yeah.
at this point, the people left. He's going to vote for Bree, and that is
Yeah.
going to influence who else is going to how the people are going to vote.
Do we have any? We're obviously going to talk about. We've already been talking about a lot of prognostication and what's going to happen in the future. We can do that after the interview. Do we have anything before we bring in Derek?
We don't need to talk about the challenge.
Well, I was going to say about the challenge. Bree said done before she was actually done. She was probably like,
that's what you got to do, though. That's what everyone does.
Okay.
Like, that's what I think Wendell has. A few people, like US Survivor players, have said. You call over when you've finished it, but you're putting them in place.
And that's legal.
I think that if somebody else had it and their hands off of it, then they still win. Go to the video replay.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like you can say done. If we're both doing it and I'm actually waiting till I'm actually done to say done, but you're half done and saying done, like, you know what I mean? If
it's close, they go to the video replay.
You've been watching Sydney Survivor
with audio ready to go. Yeah.
Greg, you've been watching Sydney Survivor. They had this exact thing happen in the pre-merge.
I stopped after anyway.
This thing happened in the pre-merge. They literally stopped. Someone said we finished the puzzle, and then the other tribe had finished the puzzle, and they went to the video replay and didn't go with the person who put their hand up first because they lost. They had immunity taken away because they still had a hand on the puzzle where the other tribe did not. So I think when it's that close, but no one was close. People hadn't even finished like turning their letters over and she'd finished.
It was just something I noticed is like, I just think you should just play by the rules. Come on.
Was it the same word? Was it a different word?
I think it must have been the same because they had those hooks, like it was the same pieces.
No, it wasn't the same because they had a 10-letter word.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I think they changed it.
They had pieces with little hooks. How many pieces with little hooks?
They used the same letters, but I think they used a different word.
Yeah, so they came up with another word with the same letters. We came up with the same plan.
They were like, what other word can we find from these letters?
We did this in Uncharted Waters.
When?
What?
Well, we were going into Final Four and we'd packed up all the fire shit, and then people were like, what if it's a tie? Are we doing fire? And I was like, fuck, we packed up all the fire shit. We don't have that stuff. What are we going to do if it's a tie at Final Four? And we came up with a word puzzle using the letters from your very first challenge. We also gave it to Ash after the fact to see if she would have got it right, and she smashed it in about 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So she still would have gone to third.
Yeah. I was impressed at Brie winning that challenge because she said she was a numbers person, and generally you're not both.
Yeah, I don't do word puzzles. I suck at a word scramble, so I was impressed. Anyway, let's get him in here.
Before I bring in Derek, I want to prove my point earlier. Is that the right one? This one? I think this is the right one, yes. Look at this image. Tell me this is not Greg. Hang on. Tell me I'm dead here. Oh my God, where is it? Oh my God.
We're delaying talking to my phone.
Oh yeah, I have a couple more comments.
All right, you give us your comments.
I don't think Apple Watches should be allowed.
Yeah, I've been noticing that.
You noticed that?
Yeah, Anthea does.
Yeah.
No one should have a watch on.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Any watch. No Apple Watch otherwise. You don't get to know what time it is.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of that. I don't know why that's been allowed.
No tracking your steps, heart rate, nothing. It should be just you and the elements. And also, there's like a gold thing in the corner of the Survivor Canberra sign that they keep. I feel like
wasn't that where Natalie's idol was?
Well, yeah, that was the idol.
Was it in the gold thing?
I think
it was in the gold thing.
We saw it from a bad angle, so we didn't see where it was, but I think it was
seems
in
like
that spot. I don't know if it was in it or behind it, but it was there.
I assume there's not another thing in addition to that, but yeah, okay.
Does this guy look like Greg or what?
Bree says they all had their phones in their pockets.
Yeah, that's who I thought. That's who I thought you.
Look at this guy.
That's who I thought you were talking about.
Like a guy with the same facial hair. But important point from Bree. I don't care about this guy. They all had their phones on them.
That's not good either.
Yeah, I don't like that.
No,
For
like I get it for the microphones, but
It's got to be on airplane mode. I don't know how.
I'm sure it was, but still, like, no.
I'm a purist. I'd rather have bad audio and no phones.
So they're recording their audio themselves, and then they
Yeah, they've
like.
got mics on.
No, I know they got mics. I was wondering how they did it without.
I guess it's just how do they say charged? You can't be like running a phone all day.
Logistical. It's impressive. Impressive
We'll find that out.
Production thing.
Okay, but the Apple Watch is still a no-go. What's the deal with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is Derek here? I don't get it.
Yeah, wait, Derek's ready.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just like, yeah, if you give me a favor. All right, so hang on. Let me get the. I still think
I like Bree's quote. Not to be asking personal questions, but how long does the idol last until? It's like funny that that's a personal question. How long does the idol
No,
last?
but like I think it's more like you don't have to answer this.
I know,
Everything
it's
airplane mode
observation.
conserve battery. Yeah, it would because it's not trying to connect to the internet or anything. It's not going to the cloud. You don't have shit running in the background.
All right, fine. I still don't like it, but all right. I'm going to throw this up. This guy was obviously an absolute star of the season, the one that everyone, Jules especially, thought was going to win the game. He came in.
Season.
Yeah, well, look, he was impressive from the preseason. Clearly, a man that knows how to communicate, to build social connections. I think he's probably always been incredibly well liked. He's smooth. He's social, but he's a good game player behind that as well, playing strategically, building connections, making moves, just an ultimate uber threat. People called him out as a threat. Mars called him out as a threat, tried to bro down about how they're both the threats. He didn't react well to that, but Mars was right. Derek was the threat. And sadly, as these big threat players go, he just falls short of the finale, but he was an absolute star player. Let's bring him in. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having
Mayor of
me.
ORCA Jules' fan club. I love it.
Yep.
Not an orca. She's not an orca. She's
How much?
She's a semi-orca,
Yes.
just like me.
Thanks for having me,
She is
guys.
technically not. Derek, this is the big question. How many times have you gone over regretting not taking the desperation station?
Honestly, not much. I think it got to a point where at this stage of the game, Will and Nat don't go. So I'm like, they clearly feel comfortable. But I felt at that stage, go to Nat, I have a chat with her. I say, look, I'm the next big threat. Keep me around. Let's play the idol. Get somebody else out. At 5, you've still got the other idol. Save it for yourself. I'm always going to be the bigger target in front of you. So I think I was more focused on solidifying relationships to make it to the end rather than saving myself for this round, but still being in the same position come the next round.
Yeah.
So I like that you don't regret it. I appreciate your strategy, but you did pivot off. I want to push this. You pivoted off your strategy. You told us 2 episodes ago that you were saving it for this very moment. It was very savvy play. You always had a plan and a good plan at that. Do you think, if you'd taken it, do you think you would have not gotten voted out? Would you have been saved just for the implied immunity?
I think it's really hard to know, to be honest. I think I was always with Janine at this point. I still felt good with, I think I messed up my relationship with Natalie from the last vote because I go up to her and Anthea and I say, I know you're both coming for me. And I think she loses the trust in me. So I think had it been the last round, I don't have that conversation with her. We were probably going to be able to get somebody else out. But because of that specific conversation, I think I put myself in a far off worse position for sure.
Well, you were in a very strong position from the very start of the game. I think you were in a very strong power position in the tribe. Did you ever feel you were under threat in any point in this game? You were always in such a strong position with great connections.
Yeah, honestly, it was weird. I think it got to a point of the game where like every time I had the core four, but then always wanted like a little side alliance. So I had like one with Rose and Mushy. We obviously vote for Simon, and then we have I had a really good relationship with Mark separately. I was always trying to have one-on-one relationships. And funnily enough, it was the relationship with Mark that helped me build the bond with Janine, because he told me how close they were. So come merge, I go straight to Janine and I say, look, if Mars was probably there, it would have been him over Mark. And I think she gravitated towards me as a result of that. So it got to a point, though, was that second immunity, which I didn't want to win it. And the only reason I go for it, and one thing I think I've learned from this game is I was winning for the sake of keeping our options open, because we also had, obviously, Desperation Station, rather than actually needing immunity. And I think as a result of that, I put a target on my back with that aspect. So when it got down to me and Natalie, I had a chat with her. I said, look, you can have this challenge. I didn't want to win it. And she said, no, I want to win it fair and square. I want to have this, I want to take this off my bucket list. And so I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go for it. But I think I should have just thrown that challenge for sure. Yeah. So I think that's probably my biggest regret, more than probably going to Desperation Station.
So can I take back one? I will let you speak, Greg, but I'll take one step back to something you said. When you told Janine that it would have been Mars, not Mark, was that a lie, or was that something that could have possibly happened?
I think it was a possibility. So I wasn't a huge fan of the Melbourne boys. It was convenient, but I felt as though every time Will had a relationship, I wanted to counter that by having somebody on my side. And so with him having Mars, who was meant to obviously be this trio, I felt like they were getting closer. And so I had Mark on my side. So I think I would have tried to keep Mark around, because Will also felt good with him, but I felt like I was closer than Will was. Obviously, I could have that all wrong, but in my mind, I felt like he was a better play long term. And he felt, has said numerous times, that he didn't have anybody else on the other side. Whereas with Mars, and I think I say this in one of the episodes, he says, I've got connections on the other side. I can bring you into Bree and Aston, and obviously he had Adele. And that's why we go for Adele as well. So it was something that felt off with Mars. And I think we spoke about it, obviously, going into the jury. He said, I just couldn't tell where you were at. And I felt the same about him for a majority of the time.
It wasn't the case that you came into the game pre-game talking about wanting to work with minorities or people in Survivor that don't normally are in power positions. The older women often get voted out first, etc. But you still ended up in this like 4 horsemen clone with Ben and Will and Mars. Is the bros doing the bro thing, which is like the opposite of what your agenda was.
Yeah, and I think that's why any sort of like duo relationships I had were with people that didn't sort of fall into that, because and I don't think we get a lot of this at the start, but obviously I wanted to be in the numbers with the 4 with that first challenge. Yeah. And then it's not like I can pick and choose and say no to the alliance. No. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to stick with this. But I had that first vote, especially, Rose and I had a really good conversation, and we were like, we need to save Mushy. We need to find a way to turn this around. And at that point, it was either going to be Simon or Jasmine, who also don't fit the bill for what we were obviously wanting to have, but it was like anything's better than that. And I think as the game sort of progressed, it was becoming, especially that they don't show a lot of this, but I did not trust Natalie, especially that first couple of votes were brutal. I'm sure there's confessionals out there where I was such a I wasn't great, wasn't a huge fan, and I think if it wasn't for the swap, she probably would have been like the next person to go, because I just didn't. Something felt off with her, and I think it was just the way that she sort of approached the first round or two, and I just don't vibe with people like that.
Greg, you had a question. Sorry to interrupt.
Well, no, I just was going to say it's interesting about that you regret potentially winning immunity at, I guess it was final 8. because that maybe elevate. Because in my season, I was voted out at 8, and I regret not winning immunity. Like I was thinking that don't win immunity because I didn't want my threat level to be too high. But then I was voted out then, and I was like, oh, probably would have been better to just have immunity and get through. And then so it's like I don't know. I wouldn't regret winning immunity.
Okay.
Is what I was gonna say. But
No, I think it definitely elevated your threat level, and I think if you can get to the end and be like, I threw a challenge, that's a good pitch to say to the jury.
I think it was
flip run to Natalie. No, I threw that shit.
And I think it was because at that point, and they also don't show this, but the idol that Natalie finds at Tribal, she actually asked me if I wanted to go and get it. But I was like, I'm not going to put the target on my back. So my role was to distract everyone. And that's actually, I think I did a good job because not a lot of people noticed. The only person that noticed was Aston. That's because he knew the clue.
You don't want to fall on the floor?
No, I was like, I'm not putting myself through it. I was like, I'm in a good position. But it wasn't until we obviously, and I thought people would think Natalie would play it for me at that point. And I was hoping if they were planning on voting for me, that would kind of turn them away from doing that. And I think at that point, Jordo just, it was like the Girls Alliance and Derek that obviously vote for Jordan that round anyway. So I think I felt like I was okay. But I always knew that Natalie, given the conversation we had in that specific move, that she'd said she would play the idol for me, which was another reason why at 6, I'm pitching to her like this is the time to play that idol for me, as we discussed.
Can you tell us? We think we've said a lot of times on this podcast that you and Will are equal, and not in a very positive way. That you both played very strong, social, strategic, and physical games. Yet for some reason at this vote, everyone's like, Derek's got to go. He's the number one threat. And the other option is Anthea. No one is talking about Will. What is the thinking? Like, why was that? Why were you so stood apart from Will when you basically played the same games together for the most part? I know you've got little side things going on, but for the most part, you voted together throughout the game.
I think the difference, and being in the moment, day 1 Will and day 2 Will were completely different people. He kind of, and I think you actually touched on this before, Jules, where he completely sort of like disappeared. And he was there, but it felt like something was off. Like maybe he'd kind of like sheltered himself or didn't want to speak to people. And I don't know if that was obviously in part of his strategy. I'm sure, when you get the opportunity, you guys will have a conversation with him. But I think I did the opposite, where day 1, I wanted to keep it more of the calm and then sort of try and elevate and ramp up for the second day. Whereas he was still making those really good bonds separately, but not painting that spotlight on him to the extent that I was. So I think it was sort of like we were meeting in the middle and there was like intersectionality, but then we've just kind of like gone in separate directions.
You're saying he was going down and you were going up.
Yeah.
You tried to get the vote on him this round, or was it you were just Anthea?
No, I didn't try to go for Will this round simply because there had been conversations of being an all-girls alliance. And I felt if I go for Will at this round, I knew that then I would be in a far worse position. So I felt like if we get Anthea or Bree, she didn't win that challenge, I think she could have been in trouble. If we get one of them out at that point with Natalie's idol, then at 5, ideally, I would say Anthea. I felt like I was closer to Natalie. Obviously, I wasn't seeing the conversations that Will and Natalie were also having. And I would have been in a better position to then try and get him out at that stage. Because at the end, I wanted to have Janine. And then the third person was always going to be... I felt like I was happy with my game, but I wanted it to be different from the other, I guess, Gula tribe members. And so my ideal final three would have been Janine and one of, I guess, Will or Nat. Ideally Nat, I want to say.
So you saw Anthea as the big threat to win of the Blues.
I think at this point, because I think at 6, given how much pressure there was with her sort of throwing my name,
Well, she voted
and
for you, so
I think
changes.
yes. So I felt as though, and I think that's what I was trying to sort of push to Natalie. It was, if she's going to do this to me, she's going to do it to you and Will and whoever else. So I was thinking that if she was able to get those things and tick off getting us all out, she's going to win. So I thought if we eliminate her at this stage, it not only weakens Will by having someone who we've been a trio, but they've been a closer duo, which was clear from that first idol clue, but it also makes him the next big target at around 5, that would be able to save me. But obviously to Natalie, I'm saying that I'm going to be the big target that's protecting her if she plays the idol for me at 6. So it's just kind of like having him as an option over myself to obviously win out at a fire making, and whether it's final 3 or final 2, work out how I'm going to navigate my way there.
That's, of course, if you can get Natalie to play an idol on you, that's always a very convincing argument to the jury, especially if she's there as well. Getting anyone to play an idol on you is always an impressive move.
Yeah, definitely. Spent a lot of time doing it. Clearly that I ran out of time to go to Desperation Station, which I'm sure Eden's going to have plenty to say about one day. Or he's already done it. But,
what did he say? What was his critique?
I think he was just saying you should, because I think the challenge, as soon as the sort of challenge, because I was one letter away from winning the first challenge. I think up to that point, I was just.
What was the first?
So it was astonishing. It was astounding. Sorry, astounding. Sorry.
Okay.
But I think Janine was also close, but she had outstanding, and Nat was also very close. I think she was just right behind me, one letter behind. So I think up to that point, I was just like, oh my gosh, I was so close. And then I think my mind, I've probably just completely lost any sort of train of thought. And I think that might have played a role, obviously, in not going to Desperation Station.
You're probably seething that they made this decision from production. And I think it's a fair decision.
Eric doesn't strike me as a seething type.
No, but you're like, I'm going to win this. But like, it's fine. The production decision is correct. But when you're about to win it, you're not very happy about the production decision. Like,
yes. And I think I say this to everyone after the season. It's like, if I try to fight it, it's only going to paint a bigger target on my back. So I kind of have to agree with everyone. I'm like, let's just keep doing it again. Let's do a new word. Yay, congrats, Bree. But I was upset, obviously. But I felt like I felt like there was other avenues, but I wanted to leave the Desperation Station to be the last thing, because if I'm looking at Will as being, at this stage, my biggest competitor, if he's not going to the station, I'm only giving him one bigger thing to argue to the jury that I don't have. So I'm trying to find ways that I can still make a move whilst equaling what he's doing. So it was tough. It was a lot, but it happens. That's the luck side of Survivor, I guess.
Do you think you would have solved Desperation Station?
I don't think so. I think I could have lied. I think I'd won 2 challenges. So I think people would have been like, okay, well, he's going to get it. And given like I was so close and I guess the first half of the challenge and Bree wins, they're going to be like, well, they're neck and neck when it comes to this. But I think at that point, Janine was probably the person that, because Janine came in super handy at final 7. And heading into, and I think Aston obviously said this when he was here, I went up to him and I said, we need to work together and be able to keep each other as threats so we can get rid of everybody else and allow ourselves to kind of be stuck together, because it's going to be you. And I was saying either Janine or Anthea as another returnee, because people are going to be looking at you guys as returnees to make it to the end. And you need a newbie that's sort of like also standing out to be your shield in a sense. But I think for him, he just wanted to make big moves. And obviously if he wins, great. If he doesn't make it to the end, he doesn't. And so I think ideally at 7, for me, I wanted Bree out. I think I say this from moving on from the Mars vote, because I felt like I had I probably dedicated the least amount of time and built the least relationship with her, which stems from, I think it was the second challenge up merge. She was trying to get me to throw it when it was just her and I left. And I was like, no, if you want this, you have to win it. So I think there was always like a weird contention, but there was never a solid conversation to be had to actually get on the same page, because I think we would have been able to actually do some damage. So missed opportunity there.
I would have loved to see you and Brie working together. That would have been amazing.
Definitely.
Would have been good.
How
And it was back when we both lived in Melbourne. So
how confident or not confident were you going into tribal? Like, were you blindsided, or you saw it coming?
no, I knew I was going home. I think I was
Pick up your bag
hoping.
before the final vote was read.
Yeah, I was
No,
like,
yeah,
it's
Sorry.
I think sorry, go on.
I was going to put a thought in your head. You tell me. You're obviously a very, very smart, capable player. You know the game, you know the strategy, and I think you have the capability of being aware of most people's best moves, and then you're working to disarm those moves, try to get them to think of something different, or play into those moves if you think that they're correct. I think when you're that sort of player, you always get it in your head that you could get voted out, because you can see that that is a possibility and a right strategic move for a number of people. And so I don't know if you can ever truly be blindsided when you think about every parameter. Would you think that's how you think, or not? I'm just bringing thoughts into you.
I think Final 7, I've played games before going to Survivor Canberra, like throughout COVID. And that's actually how I got into Survivor Canberra.
Orgs and such.
Yeah, like I
Like
played.
games.
It's a very interesting story. So I went to uni with Eden. We were in classes together, and we had to use Twitter for like one of the classes we had. And over COVID, he was playing Equilibrium, and he had to tag someone that he thought would be great at the game, and just randomly tagged me. And I was like, I didn't even know you liked Survivor. And we had this huge conversation. Both realized we were fans. So I got into games that way. But my issue was I was either 7th or I would win. There was never anything in between. So when I got to Final 7, the paranoia kicked in. I was like, if this is not it, I'm going to the end and winning. So I was so convinced I was going home at 7. And then I can't remember what the challenge was now at Final 7.
The tying of things.
Oh.
That's right. Yeah. And then and so at 6 I was like, well, I've made it through that. So if I didn't go home, then I'm either going to win or it's just going to happen. So I think I was content that I'd made it through the last round. That given the conversations I'd had, given how, and I think you guys mentioned it, the conversation with Anthea, like, it was clear that she was voting for me. She wasn't giving me any names, and it was just very clear where things were heading. And I think my biggest thing at that stage was trying to get on Natalie's good side, because I still felt as though Will would be in the same mentality that I was of needing each other around. And so I think he even mentions this where it's like Derek keeps on coming up to me and telling me things. But that's because I felt like we needed each other so that we could protect each other, at least until 5, because at that stage we could navigate the game to the end based on who was left, and the other one would always be the other sort of target.
So you weren't hurt by anyone particular who voted you out?
No, not really. Like, it's just 2 days. I didn't know them. I do the same thing to them. Like, it's whatever. I was pretty.
Gamers gonna game, Greg. When you're a gamer, you
Will
don't get hurt.
seems to be struggling. Will seems to be really struggling with it, with voting you out. But,
yeah, I think like we had a really, really good relationship in the game, and I think because you're working continuously with someone from the very beginning, you kind of like you don't know how they're going to be as a jury member as well, and you're thinking, okay, if I vote this person out and I make it to the end, what's to say that I'm making this huge move and then they're not going to respect it and they're going to vote for somebody else or be a bit of juror or whatever the case may be. And I think a part of that is him obviously trying to push himself further and be like, you know what, I need to do this for my game. And honestly, props to him and Anthea for that.
Do we have any final comments, Derek?
Just
Do you have any
devastating.
final words for us, Derek?
I'm
For a
sorry,
start.
Jules. Not really. It's been great hearing your thoughts. So thank you so much for the thoughts throughout the season. Looking forward to going to Canberra for the drinks, that's for sure. As soon as we saw who was picked, we were celebrating. So
You knew,
yeah, looking
you
forward
knew.
to it.
And you live in Melbourne, right? You live in Melbourne?
I do.
You
Yeah, I
can come
moved
to
here
the
right
Come to
before.
the Melbourne drinks.
There's Melbourne drinks
Oh,
soon.
perfect. Awesome, I'll be
August.
there.
All right.
First
Thanks,
of all,
Derek. We appreciate
okay.
you.
I saw Derek
Thank
at
you.
Oh, it's going. Okay.
Okay, what do you want to say, Greg?
At a
You saw
trial?
Derek?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Derek and I set up a Final Four. Remember we set up the Final Four challenge?
We did at a
I did not
trial.
do-
Yeah.
I did put the thing way too far in the bushes, derailed everything. But, we never
Classic Greg.
Melbourne drinks, we can chat.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Absolutely. All right, see you then.
Thanks, Derek.
See you guys.
Classic Greg. All right, we're going to throw this one up.
Brommy num, who gets the Brommy num?
Chronica, do you know who won all the orcas? Because I can't really remember. We've got a couple from Mars, a couple from Maddie,
Anthea,
couple for Anthea, a couple for Ben. Gave Mushy one. Has Brie got one or two?
I don't know, but I'm giving it to whoever this one.
Is there anyone else that's even remotely nominatable? I don't think so.
There's a lack of orca behavior.
Yeah. Greg, do you have anyone that you would think is another option?
Remind me of the criteria briefly. Propensity
You,
for
but
narcissism.
slightly better. You two, but slightly better.
No, I know, but like
narcissism, strong arming strategy, and just generally rubbing people the wrong way.
Derek wants to throw out Will for an option here.
For which? At
Will
what
is
stage?
he's such a gentle little soul to be an orca.
Was there?
Especially with all his little bandaged fingers.
Was like the Derek Anthea? Maybe Derek with Anthea. I don't know, but he was kind of I don't know.
Trying to get someone to play an idol on you. That's orca.
Janine is an option. Janine is an option for this one.
That's a good one because she was just
She was
like,
a
I'm
little bit-
going to do what I want.
Yeah, but I
a
just
little bit belligerent. She was just belligerent the whole thing.
You can give it to her. I just didn't like it. Was coming from a place of I'm bored. I just want to stir shit.
That's
Because-
exactly what orcas do.
Yes,
Look at this. Look at this shit. Look at this. Like Derek wants it to be Will. Bree wants it to be
They all
Janine.
want to give it to each other.
Will wants to be Derek or Anthea. Jesus Christ, guys! You're supposed to pump yourself up.
That's
Not pump
huge.
up.
That's not orca behavior.
I like Nat saying, I guess that's over now when Anthea and Derek were talking, but that's just me. I guess I only liked that moment. No one else did. I don't know if it was orca behavior, but I just liked it.
I think let's go Janine.
Yeah, I think Janine.
Yeah.
Janine. I think because Bree is saying it, it makes. And also, like I'd forgotten about it until I was like, oh yeah, that's orca.
Yeah, I had it in my notes, but
She doesn't have a nomination yet, so.
No, let's give her a nomination. Okay, so final bit. What's going to happen in the finale? Greg, you're our guest. Tell us who's going 5, 4, and then final 3. Who's winning?
Okay. Well, I think that I think we sort of said it before, like assuming we can't really know the challenge or immunity, but
You just got to make your own calls. What's going to happen?
okay, sorry.
Derek's dad. Derek, you're too good of a player, bro. Too good.
Nice and good, yeah. I'll say Bree goes this next round, then Will, and final 3, those other 3, and Anthea wins.
I think that too. Jules, do you have a different view of what's going to happen?
Yeah, I think they're going to be too busy looking at Anthea and Will. I think Bree's either winning immunity or she's just not being looked at. I think Bree's our winner. Not just because it's on my draft.
Yeah.
I think Will or Anthea are going here, and then I think Bree probably needs to win that final immunity, and I think she can do it. So I think she's at the end with Janine and Natalie, and Bree's our winner.
Yeah, I actually will say I felt like that confessional where she's talking about how like I was sweet Bree in the pre-merge and now I'm no care factor, nothing to lose. Like it felt like a sort of
It's a bit of a winner's edit.
like a winner quote, like a winner confessional. So yeah.
I think Anthony has the winner's edit, to be perfectly honest, but I do see it with Bree. I don't know if Will has the winner's edit as great as I think he's played. I feel like he's going to go out fourth no matter what.
I think he could be our fallen angel.
Yeah.
Anthony had the
And I think
notice.
Anthea's name coming up as many times as it has, as a threat. She's, been voted for the last 2 tribals. I think it gets to a point where you're just like, wow, if Anthea's at the end, she wins. So I think she could be looked at next.
Yeah.
I want to go with Jules. I'm changing my position to what Jules said.
You guys have agreed. You finally come together.
What's time?
Same jacket, same
3 years knowing
opinion.
each
It's an
other.
incredible moment of Orca love. Thank you to Greg for binge watching the season, to come on and joining us, talking in the penultimate episode. Thank you, Jules, as always. Thank you to Derek for coming on. Thank you to everybody who was here live chatting in the comments. We love you the most. Thank you to people who listen after the fact. We know you exist. Let's show up live, please, and then we can talk to you. We will be back next week. Again, the double coverage continues. We will have the finale of Canberra Survivor, which is airing this Friday. Also, that'll be next Wednesday. Next Monday, the Sydney crew returns to talk about the episode of Sydney that just aired this evening. Plenty of cyber coverage to come. If you are in Melbourne, look out for the event coming soon, 1st of August. Live Uncharted Waters reunion. Assuming you're going to be there, Greg. Plus Orca drinks. Plus we hand out Bromolo medals to Bromoloists who are in attendance. It's going to be an incredible... Sorry, Jules, you're going to get one. It's going to be an incredible afternoon of Survivor fun. Make sure you're there if you live in Melbourne. We will be back next week. Until then, we will... Oh, man, it's not working. I'm having some problems with the... I can't get to the song. Oh, my God. We have to do it without the song. We have to dance silently.
Thanks for having me. I really had so much fun. This was a dream come true. Dancing, cool, yeah.
Yeah, dancing to silence.
No music.
Yes. Thanks, Greg. Great to have you.